Milton, and welcome back to Gainz O. This is my Q&A series that I run for you every single Friday, where I jump on here and answer your questions. And this is just one of the 5 awesome shows that I run all week for you, helping you get better results, helping you get where you want to be faster. So please make sure when you get something out of this today that you share the video, you subscribe to the channel, and then you drop me a thumbs up or give me a comment and let me know what you think. I appreciate all of you that gave me your questions. Today we're going to talk specifically about a lot of nutrition, a lot about fat loss, a lot about weight loss. All things revolving that, which is relevant for pretty much all of you with any goal out there. So let's dive right on in. Again, this is Gainz O. I'm Ryan Milton, and the goal of this show is to give you some answers to your questions so that you can help yourself get results faster and help other people too. Please share the video. All right, let's dive right on in. Question number 1. This question comes from Megan. It says, are the calories from fats and carbs the same? The answer, Megan, would be no. The calories from carbs and fats are in fact different, okay? And what I mean by this is each gram of carbohydrates has 4 calories per gram, okay? So it has 4 calories per gram of carbs. And fats, on the other hand, are a little bit different here. Fats, each gram of fat has 9 calories per gram, okay? So the calories from fats and carbs are not the same. I'm assuming you're asking me this question because you're trying to figure out if having more fat's better for losing fat, or having more carbs is better for losing fat. And so I'll say this, you gotta have these nutrients balanced. This is why a lot of times we see, lower fat content, higher carbohydrate content, with a moderate level to a high level of protein for most of the balanced diets. And if the carbs are absent, you're gonna see a higher fat and so on and so forth, right? If you have higher carbs, it's often lower fat. And this comes because of the fact that you still got to balance your calories at the end of the day. We can't have more calories than we win our basic metabolic needs, otherwise you're going to be gaining weight, you're going to be gaining body fat. If you want to lose weight, lose body fat, you got to have a caloric deficit. We got to have the calories down. And so with that, you got to know the difference between having the right level of carbs and fats. It's not necessarily interchangeable. The calories are not the same, so don't think that it's all just about that. You got to make sure that you have the right grams of fat and the right grams of carbs if you want the right results. If you need help with this, go to teamfflex.com right now and subscribe to my trial. Me or one of my coaches will jump on there and help you with this. Anybody watching, you need help with nutrition, go do that, okay? All right, let's dive in. Question number 2 comes from Tessa. How come the scale I use tells me I'm at a different weight every day? Is it broken? If so, what scale do you suggest is the best? This is an interesting question. Tessa, don't weigh yourself every day. That's all I'll say first off. Don't weigh yourself every day, okay? And it will tell you it's a different weight because your body fluctuates naturally between 4 or 5, some people more, pounds per day. Literally per day. If you weigh yourself every hour, right now you're doing it every day and you're wondering why it's going up and down. This is what happened to everybody if they weighed in every day, because that's what your body does. If you weighed in every single hour of today, you would notice the scale is always changing. You're not going to stay at the same weight. You might be up a pound, you might be down a pound. It's going to depend on what you eat, your bathroom habits, what you drink, where you're, if you worked out, if you're holding some water, all kinds of things come into play, okay? And in a weekly scale, it's even more. Day to day, we're talking about hormone fluctuations, we're talking about time of day, we're talking about all these things, okay? And so with that, the scale's going to constantly do this. No matter where you are, what your goal is, what you're doing, the scale will be fluctuating, all right? And that's just what the game is. That's what the process is. So don't be jumping on scale. I don't have a best suggestion for a scale for you either, because basically I'm going to say pick a day, one day a week that you want to weigh in, that you're going to use to track your progress, and pick that day only, and only step on the scale that day. And that's going to give you a way more accurate bit of progression. And also keep in mind, it's never about the 7-day to 7-day weigh-in. It's about the path over the long course of time. All right? Hope that helps, Tessa. Question number 3. I've been dieting for about a month now, but only lost about 4 pounds. Is that normal? I'm beginning to think my plan is not working. This comes from Amber. Amber, if you've lost 4 pounds in a month, your plan is working very, very well, okay? And what I will say is that a lot of people, and this is probably what's happened to you and why you think maybe it's not working right, a lot of people think that if they start a diet, or they start a weight loss program, or they start a fat loss cutting program, whatever, that they need to have dramatically different results. If you're not losing a pound a day, you're doing something wrong. Well, in reality, a sustainable level of weight loss would be between 1 pound to 1.5 pounds at a max per week, okay? Some people can push it to 2. It's very extreme to do that. So we're talking about losing a pound to 1.5 pounds per week as a good course of fat loss. And I'll tell you why. Yeah, you can crash diet and go faster. You definitely can. You can absolutely lose 5, 10 pounds in a week. But I'll tell you what's going to happen. It's not sustainable. You're going to fall off that. You're going to end up rebounding that weight back. The classic yo-yo dieter does that. The person that actually gets the fat loss, loses the weight, keeps it off, and builds a new lifestyle is the person that does it at a pace of about 1 pound to 1.5 pounds a week. That's the sweet spot for most people. Some people need less. Some people might only do 0.5 pound a week, and some people might be able to push it to 2. Everybody's a little bit different, but the point is, you got to go with what's going to be sustainable. You got to go with what's going to be long term. You don't want to be jumping around doing all these crazy approaches, trying to lose 10 pounds in a week when you're going to gain back 15 at the end of it. Okay? So if anybody needs help with their nutrition, if you need help with your nutrition, Amber, if you want to optimize the plan you're on, anybody needs help, go to teamfflex.com and subscribe to the free trial, and one of me or my coaches will help get you set up with what you need to get the best results of your entire life. Question number 4. This question comes from Jeff. What do you know about prolonged fasting and its effects on muscle retention? Okay, now prolonged fasting, Jeff, not exactly sure what you're talking about. You could be talking about intermittent fasting, and you could be talking about more long-term fasting. Some people do 1 meal a day. Some people do no meals a day. Some people eat every other day. There's these periods of other fasting you could do, 3 to 5 day fasting that some people do. I don't really know. But the point is, regardless of what you're saying, they all have a similar theme in common, that oftentimes it's actually better for muscle retention to go fasting. And a lot of you might be like, what? That goes against pretty much everything that's out on the internet about, you have to have protein every 2-3 hours. You'd have to have this, otherwise you're going to go catabolic. Well, in reality, what happens when you do any period of fasting, if you're doing intermittent fasting with a 16 eating window, if you're doing 1 meal a day with a 20 fast and a 4-hour eating window, if you're doing no meals a day, what happens no matter what you're doing is this boost in growth hormone, okay? And your growth hormone goes up, which guess what? That boosts up to help you preserve your muscle. Now, since you are in control of your training and control of your nutrition, this is actually not necessarily a survival mechanism anymore, but it can be utilized to help you build extra muscle and help you retain extra muscle, right? Because the growth hormone would spike as a survival mechanism in your body as a way to prevent you from actually losing muscle if we were still living in the wild, running around with spears and shit, all right? And so when that happens, since you're actually able to eat and you're actually able to train, this is actually just going to help you optimize your muscle and even build more muscle. And that's what it's shown to do in all the research that I've done. Muscle retention comes from fasting, and that's just the way it is. So it's actually a good thing. A lot of people can build new muscle. A lot of people will get leaner. You will improve your body composition and everything else when you do periods of this fasting. So it's definitely something I suggest and something I've talked about in some of my other videos. Great question there, Jeff. All right, question number 5, fam. Question number 5. We're doing 10 of these today, by the way, so we're about halfway right now. This is from Ashley. There are so many diets out there, and I really feel like I've tried them all, yet I never really get the results I want. You're not alone there. What diet do you think is best? That's an interesting question because I don't have a specific diet that I would suggest is best. What I will say is best is doing something that is going to be consistent for you. Okay? There's a lot of different ways you could eat out there. Pretty much you could eat any way you want, right? You can go to the store, buy any foods, you can do any variations of any diets or whatever comes out. But I'll tell you what's always going to produce results and why there are so many diets. The reason there are so many diets in the first place is because they all worked for somebody at some point. Okay? Somebody did paleo and it worked for them. Then more people did paleo and it worked for them. Some people did keto and it worked for them. And then more people did keto and it worked for them. Some people did Mediterranean, carnivore, vegan, all this. And the point is it works for some people. And guess what? On the opposite side of the coin, it doesn't for others. You got to find the approach that's going to work best for you, the diet that will work best for you, that's going to be something you can maintain the long term. The way that you actually want to think about a diet is not actually, hey, what can I do for the short term to get results? It actually should be like, what can I do for a few years, 5, 10, maybe 20 years, right? Think about a lifestyle. Think about something that's going to be long term for you, and if you can get that down, then you're going to get results. Because no matter what, if you can be consistent with any approach and you're doing the right amount of macros and the right amount of calories, you're going to be good to go. You're going to be fine. It doesn't necessarily matter which fad, what fad. I will tell you these things. You have to make sure you're tracking your calories. You have to know where that's at. You have to make sure you're tracking your other nutrients. Plans that tell you can eat whatever you want, whenever you want, are not going to serve you in the long term. That's not a long-term thing. So when I always say, what's the best diet approach, I always say flexible dieting. Because flexible dieting actually is a wide variety of what dieting could be. Because basically you shape your own diet. You get to pick your foods. You get to pick the, things you like to eat. You get to pick the treats you want to have, and you can fit them into your goals. And you track your calories, you track your macros, so you get results. You could eat one way today, totally different way tomorrow. You can go out to restaurants, you can do all these things. And that's what I have found as a coach, working with thousands of people over the years, that is generally the practice people can be most consistent with. Does that mean it's the only one? Absolutely not. And does that mean everybody will do great with it? Maybe, maybe not. It depends on what you do. It depends on how much time you want to invest in it. It depends on what will work for you. So think about what's going to be most consistent, and that's going to be the approach that would be best for you there, Ashley. Question number 6 right here. This is Gainz O. I'm Ryan Milton from Team Flex. This is from David. What's your opinion on the keto diet? Okay, so I've talked about the keto diet before. A lot of times I've said the keto diet because it doesn't work for a lot of people. Kind of roping into what I just said at this last question. It's funny, these two are right next to each other. Is basically, if it's not consistent, it's not going to work. And what a lot of people do for keto, they do it for the wrong reasons. Don't get me wrong, there are some great benefits that actually come from the keto diet. There's stuff that's been researched as far as, cancer prevention and all sorts of other things. But what actually happens is, at the end of the day, you got to understand that it won't work for every single person. It's not the approach for everybody. And if it's not the approach for everybody, that means you got to figure out if it's the approach for you or not. I say keto because I don't think that a lot of people that do the keto diet do for the right reasons. A lot of people think they're going to jump in, they're going to lose a bunch of weight in the first month, and then they're going to go back to eating pizza, brownies, ice cream, all the bullshit. Well, at the end of the day, if you want to do the keto diet as a lifestyle, good for you. Invest your time in it, put your energy into it, and if it works for you, awesome, go forward with it. But don't think it's some cheat sheet, don't think it's some way to lose weight fast. If you want to build it as a lifestyle, going back to what I just said, awesome, do it. Otherwise, probably stay away from it. Try to optimize your nutrition with what you know can be sustainable, can be maintainable, and you will be able to do long term. And that will be the long-term success that's going to bring the best health and longevity for you, period. Alright, question number 7. I feel like I look leaner and small in my pictures, but the scale stays the same. What am I doing wrong? This question's from Brittany. Thanks for the question, Brittany. You're probably doing nothing wrong. I will tell you straight up. Pictures tell more of a story than the scale ever will. And that might sound counterintuitive. You might be, what? Pictures could be lighting, it could be a different angle, they could be, yeah, they could be, but the scale does this shit to you every day. As I mentioned before, the scale will mess with you all the time. It's going to change all the time. It's going to go up and down. It's going to fluctuate constantly. This is what the scale does. The scale is like, an evil villain in a lot of ways, where it's always trying to mess with you, get you off track, and mess with your head. But at the end of the day, the scale is not everything. What happens is the fact that there's stuff called a recomposition where you could be building muscle and burning fat at the same time. And so what actually happens is your scale weight stays right about the same. You're kind of in this zone where you might go up a little bit, you might go down a little bit, but you're never really leaving, these 3-4 pounds area. But what's happening is your body's getting leaner because your muscle is coming up. The scale doesn't drop because you're actually losing weight at the rate you're building, which equates to the same weight on the scale. Go figure. And I'll tell you what, I've trained a lot of people. We've done a lot of stuff like this where I've seen people weigh exactly the same weight and turn into, 3-6 months down the road. They've been freaking out because they're like, oh my God, the scale hasn't moved. It's not working. And then you put their side by sides up and it's a whole different person. You're like, what? How's that the same person? The amount of people I've taken on prep, the women that have weighed the same in their off season as they do when they compete, but they look entirely different. One of them has abs, one of them does not. They're at the same weight, they look different. It's because of what I'm saying here, this recomposition effect. So while you are leaning down, you're getting smaller, you feel like you look leaner, it's probably actually happening. There's nothing you're doing wrong. The scale, in other words, is starting to mess with your head. So again, don't put so much weight into the scale, kind of go back. If you're doing multiple weigh-ins a week, go to 1 day a week and follow the progress, follow the pictures, never change anything too drastically. That is one message that I can send you that will be so beneficial. Don't change things based on the scale. Always look at all the information and always make sure that it's had enough time to process for you. Gainz Clock number 8 right here, a couple more to go. I've been doing fasting since watching one of your episodes of Fitness Fire. It's working great. I'm just wondering if I can drink diet drinks and energy drinks like Bang, etc. during the fasting window. Thanks, Lindsay. Lindsay, good question. This is actually a great question. A lot of people mess up their fast because they don't understand what they can and can't have during a fast. Well, the term fasting implies that you are fasting from calories, okay? And the video I did was about the 16-8, okay? We're talking about intermittent fasting, 16 hours of fasting, 8 hours feeding. And basically what happens during this fasting window, you don't want to consume calories. So guess what? Even though these drinks say they're 0 calories, these diet drinks say they're 0 calories, these Bangs say they're 0 calories, they actually contain trace amounts of calories regardless. Bang even has branched chain amino acids in that. So your body will perceive that as a food, as a molecule of protein, in other words, regardless. So it will shift off your fast. So it's generally best to avoid any of that kind of stuff. Don't go for the diet sodas. Don't do any of that. I mean, you shouldn't be drinking that shit anyway, let's be honest. And as far as Bang energy drinks and so on go, and pre-workouts, anything that contains BCAA, whatever, any trace amount of calories, it will throw your fast off. Now, there's a lot of, controversy about that. Some people say you can have up to 50 calories while fasting and still be fasting. To me, that's not true fast. It's not actually going to give you the best benefits, and that's still being heavily researched. It kind of goes back and forth. But the point is, you can guarantee that if you have 0 calories during this time, it's not going to be a big deal. So you can have some coffee, you can have some tea, you can have water. Obviously, a lot of water during the fast is great. And obviously, yeah, certain trace amounts of calories are in coffee and tea, but it does not seem to affect fast at all yet in research. It actually helps to have a cup of coffee, things like that. So go for that. Stay away from things that contain molecule compounds, BCAAs, these energy drinks, any of this diet stuff. It's just not going to be good for you. Not to mention getting all the artificial sweeteners and stuff on your digestive system with no food during a fasting window is going to wreak havoc on all your gut, villi, and everything else going on in there. So I would stay away from those. Stick to coffee, teas, and water. All right, number 9. I have digestive issues no matter what I try. I'm following a well-balanced diet, but I just always seem to have bloating and other digestive problems. What do you suggest, Kimberly? This is something that comes up all the time, honestly. I hear this all the time. I hear this from my clients, even I hear this from randos that send me messages. Truth is about digestive stuff is a lot of time it's your food choices, okay? You're not making food choices that work well for your body. And a lot of people don't know what that means. I'm not talking about like gluten. I'm not talking about all this stuff. people have different food intolerances, believe it or not, right? Everybody has different intolerances. You can actually develop intolerances. The more you eat specific foods, you can actually cause your body to be allergic to them. And a lot of people don't know that. You know, you wake up eating eggs every day for breakfast. Eventually, eggs might be causing you to bloat because they have digestively overwhelmed your body, and now it's actually a food that's allergic to you, okay? These types of things can happen, and this is why it's important to vary your diet, have a whole bunch of different sources of foods and different fuels. So I'll say straight up, probably one of the things that's an issue is you're saying you have a well-balanced diet. Well, I don't really know what that means. You're not telling me what that is, but it probably means that you do what everybody else does and you eat the same thing all the time. Like you sat down and you planned out what you thought would be a well-balanced diet, and now you're eating the same foods every day. So right away, if we're talking about what I just said, eating the same foods every day can cause your digestive problems, right? It can cause you to actually digest these foods worse, develop mild food allergies and intolerances. And when that happens, you can basically guarantee that every time you eat, you're going to get bloated. Every time you eat, you're going to have, different stuff that comes up. Every time you eat, you're going to have digestive issues. At the end of the day, that's what's happening, right? And so with that, that's something to look at. There's also the effects that maybe you're just having too much food. You are inundating your digestive system too much. Maybe you should try something like intermittent fasting, like I've talked about, that's great for helping digestives. And then obviously there's also down to the actual microbiome, the gut bacteria, everything that you have going on in there. You might need to get some different enzymes in there. You might need to have some probiotics. You might need to eat some different stuff like Greek yogurt and kefir and things like that have actual, active live cultures in them to help improve your gut biome. A lot of people don't get this. Let me ask you this straight up too. Have you taken antibiotics recently? Because if you ever take antibiotics, they kill all bacteria in your body. Yeah, you need them for infections and things like that. Absolutely. But it also wreaks havoc on your gut bacteria. It wreaks havoc on your gut lining, and it prevents your body from actually having the stuff it needs to digest food. And so usually after a course of antibiotics, I tell people they should probably have some probiotics. Get that good gut bacteria back in there to help you digest food. So there's a lot I could say about this. Honestly, anybody that has digestive problems, what you should do is go to teamfflex.com right now and subscribe to the free trial. And note, when you do our free trial on your consult, that you have digestive problems, you want to know some stuff, because we can help you figure that out. Totally something that's done. I do this all the time with my clients, and it really, really will work. If you know what's figuring out, you can figure out the process of elimination and narrow it down and get rid of those digestive problems, all right? Okay, last question, everybody. We're on question 10 right here. Thank you for watching Gainz O. I'm Ryan Milton. Please make sure you subscribe right now if you haven't yet and you made it this far, because I guarantee you learned something today. All right, question number 10 from Lawrence. I'm trying to hit a six-pack before my vacation in May. What type of nutrition plan should I follow? This is a lot of people want to get lean for their vacations, and as the summer months come in, the warm months, it's that time of year. Well, the nutrition plan you should follow, I can't really tell you. I can't tell you specifically what you should and shouldn't have, etc. But what I will tell you is you got to be in a caloric deficit, okay? So you need to know where your calories are at, Lawrence. You need to know where you're at right now to maintain your body weight, which I assume is not a six-pack body weight. Otherwise, you wouldn't be trying to get a six-pack. And then you need to eat less. You need to create a caloric deficit. You can do this with cardio. You can do this with training. You can do this with nutrition. You want the fastest results, you do it with all three, okay? You know how to get the right amount of cardio in, you know how to do your nutrition so it's in a deficit, and you know how to train for the maximal muscle benefit while boosting your hormones, your testosterone, everything else, and that's going to lead to you getting leaner faster and looking better, more aesthetic, because at the end of the day, you don't want to be skinny fat, trying to do 2 hours of cardio a day and try to get to a six-pack, but actually burn all your muscle down and just look like a skinny fat guy. You want to have some muscle on you, you want to have some, obviously good conditioning so you can see your abs, etc., and that can be achieved through your training, your nutrition, and cardio might be involved in that as well. So if you really want help with that, go subscribe to my website now. Anybody that's trying to do any of this stuff, by the way, if you relate to any of these questions today, go to my website, teamfflex.com, subscribe to the free trial, and me and one of my coaches will help you for free. You're not putting payment information in, you're not doing anything. This is literally a free intro to our training app, because we want to help you. We want to help you get further, we want to help you get results faster, and we do this. This is why I do this show every week for free to help you do that, and we can take that to the next level when you get in our actual coaching app and you do a free trial. You try out our world-class coaching absolutely free. So that's what I strongly suggest you do. Anybody that watched the show this far, just do it. If you're serious about results, you're serious about training, you got nothing to lose. It will help you get there better, further, faster. All right? So teamfflex.com if you want to do that. Subscribe to the pop-up, and that's going to change the game for you, I guarantee you. Thank you for watching Gainz O. I'm Ryan Milton. Please make sure you subscribe, share, care, and I'll be back next week. We got 5 shows every week. Thank you for watching. Coach Ryan is out.